Good morning, afternoon, evening. This is another report, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360. I am your hostess, Deanne. I hope you all are having a great Tuesday. I just been doing a few things outside and need to get some yard work done. So before it gets super duper, uber duper hot, um, my contractor is going to get somebody to come over here on one day next month to get this yard handled. So just been doing some things out there and ran a couple of errands, grocery store, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my Tuesday so far. Like I said, I've got to turn this off or at least try to mute it. Okay. So this is another report, the Melanin Report 360. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Like, share, subscribe, follow. I am, let me go ahead and read. Definitely, because I don't want any backlash, but the copyright disclaimer, I have it in black and white. So, fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Copyright disclaimer. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Fair use, nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So there we go. There we go. So I've been listening, in the morning and the evening. There's a sister on YouTube, and she's got a 21-day challenge for listening to her. Really, really motivational, excellent, very, very good sister that is doing a 21-day to just like level people out. I'm sure it's leveling people. It's definitely leveling me out, and it's definitely has been really, good that I just stumbled across. No accidents, obviously, but I stumbled across it, and I'm glad I did. So I'm saying that to say I'm balanced in that way. However, I'm sick and tired from Fannie Lou Hamer. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I am just not, no, I understand theoretically, I understand why this is happening, but enough is enough. Enough is enough. In fact, I'm talking about defunding the police. So in Flagstaff is about 2.5 hours north, right up to 17. I drove it when I drove back to the East Coast, and I went up because it was really, really, really a beautiful drive because it's very scenic up there. It's a bear to drive, but it's a beautiful country. So Flagstaff, they actually have a proposal on the table. The city council, they want to take measures to defund the police. So I find that kind of curious because Phoenix may have 8% black and brown. No, not black and brown. I'm going to say African American, Africans that are in the city of Phoenix. I'm going to say like right 8 to 9%, somewhere in there. So it's interesting that they have this on the books to kind of discuss and have meaningful conversation and perhaps enacting, because they have even less. I believe the Black population there is maybe 5 or 4%. So the fact that they are taking measures Not trying to say it's a done deal, but it's on the table. People are just tired of reading about it. People are tired of listening to it. People are tired of families being dismantled. Didn't we go through this already? Our ancestors, didn't we have a mad rush of separating families? Now we're being separated by death, in death. So enough is enough. I think that at the end of the day, we need to defund the police. So I know Biden is talking tomorrow. I'm going to be front and center because I'm going to see now, these are the folks we helped him, if not single handedly, helped him get over the finish line. Okay, that's safe to say. So, with that said, why are we not holding his feet to the fire? We're burying our young, we're burying the promise of tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if he doesn't mention it, I'm totally done. I'm totally done. I mean, understood. Trump had to go. I get all of that. But I really think we need to rebuild the entire system. The entire system was not built, it was built off of the backs of our people. However, with that said, we need to, nothing is working unless you're rich, white, and male. So everyone else fall down the list of importance. I have self-worth and importance, but people like 10 or 15 years old now, they don't even see any promise. They don't even see an opportunity to just say, hey, I want to be something or do something or have something, and let's go ahead and go to college. Let's do the right thing. Let's stay focused on what we're to do. But that's not happening. So if we can fundamentally, if we can pay for this or that, we can defund the police. I said it. I said it. We need to defund the police. We don't need to bury another Black or brown child. Okay. All children are equal. We get all that kumbaya, but this isn't the time. We're at war. This is what I often reference this sister because this was Sister Soldier. Her first CD was like back in the 90s, I want to say. And her opening song, the lyrics, we're at war. And I remembered that all these years, gone by. But we have to do something, because Trump, he's becoming the one to go to punch for African Americans to get his team and all like that. But why are we like, oh, what's the best attorney? I'm like, we should not be burying our children, our babies. So we need to have another approach because enough is enough. We're not a vengeful people because if we were, we'd be, all over the streets killing, quote unquote, white folks. We know that's not the answer. Fundamentally, we know that's not the answer. But the system is rigged. So we, up against so much on the daily routine of living life. Just being Black or brown. It doesn't even matter. I explained to you yesterday that I was in a car accident. I was in the Prius and I got hit from behind. And this girl was probably 25 or so, and she probably was texting. I'm just assuming. And because we had the same insurance company, I guess, well, what happened? I'm in a Prius, she's in whatever, like grandma's car or something like that. And excuse me, he did not give her a ticket. Excuse me. She hit me. I don't have now. He pulled my tag. Obviously, he ran everything. I don't have a lickety split anything on my record. You know, whatever area you look, Deanne is going to be super duper clean. And so he couldn't get anything, quote unquote, on me, but he didn't give her a ticket. She had me. So in a split second, I wanted to challenge. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wrong is wrong, right is right. So I just knew I was in the right. But I was like, Deanne, just, this is not the time to be heroic. Because we know what the game is. We know what the game is. So I just like put my foot off the pedal and just, okay, went on and got checked out and all like that. But I say all that to say we need to have police reform because they are running wild. They have guns. They are such cowards. That young man in North Carolina, he was shot in the head, and I think 5 other body parts had holes in them. This is I mean, if Biden doesn't bring any of this up tomorrow and across the board police reform, defund, do drug tests. I'm saying they're not doing, Biden got in this office because of us, people who look like me and perhaps you. So we have had enough. We cannot bear enough. And again, there's so many that are happening that's not making the news. That's the other side. All the stories are not quote unquote newsworthy. So out of 8 stories, maybe 2 are on the news or 1 would be on the news. So there's so much going on out the gate, it would probably make everyone's head spin. So if we got the true numbers, we got the true numbers. And again, I will mention this, we have to decrease the black on black crime. We're not helping ourselves in any area. We are not helping ourselves. Black people are killing each other. Not statistically, it's low, but we have a percentage of people killing each other in our community. White people, brown people, whatever, police people, women and men, because I think a woman shot the young man in no, not Missouri, where the trial was, and that was a white female. So I'm gonna say police people. But we have to do what we know to do. If we don't, we're cowards too. But a coward uses, lethal force because see, they're not trained mentally. That's what I'm saying. We need to have a full investigation of evaluate. Just go back, and even if they're on the force 20, 30 years, psychological evaluation. Many of them, not all of them, many of them are on, some type of drug. Okay. There's a percentage, I will say, there's a percentage of them on drugs. Okay. Okay. There's a percentage of them alcoholics. I'm just making it clear. I'm just making it plain. So a percentage of them are alcoholics, percentage of them use drugs, percentage of them beat their partners. I'm saying statistically, they're not the pillar of society at any stretch. So we need to monitor our taxpayer dollars are paying their salaries. Okay. So why can't we have fundamental background checks on police officers whereby drug, alcohol, marijuana, whatever the drug, whatever and psychological evaluation. Because I think if they did that, probably 30% would be canned out the door, no pension. If they're all above board, there should be no problem doing that. Because I know that there's bias. There's biases everywhere we look, you know, everywhere we look. And the fact that I am a seasoned elder, got the mixed gray hair, um, for that, yeah. So I've got the mixed gray hair. I'm considered an elder. I'm over 50, but I have a wisdom level. I'm a wise woman, not just an elder, because not all elders are wise. You know, people in our family, people in my family, you know, whatever. Um, just because you reach a certain age, you know, you can be considered have a person that has wisdom, but not in every case. But what I'm saying to you, I don't know where I went to with that, but anyway, I wanted to say, based on the logic that we have, we need to, if there's no problem getting things evaluated, to just wipe the board clean and say, hey, you're new in the force, you've had one infraction, go and get drug tests on the spot. Okay. Go and get drug tests. Or if you, I mean, it's just like a good old boy network, because I'm sure they are protected. There's a sense of protection. And having that weapon, that's an entitlement and a psychological like charge that, you know, I'm above the law. And that's what Chauvin thought. Chauvin thought he was above the law. And I don't know if that's going to stick, because I don't know. I don't trust. Like I said, if that gets overturned, I don't even know what's going to happen to this country. Rightfully so. This is a very good pomegranate, organic pomegranate ice. Oh, very refreshing. So this is where we are. This is where we are. There are two young people. The young lady who called the police, allegedly, she called the police, and they're probably having a service this week. This is sad. We didn't hear about this 20, 30 years ago. We didn't hear about this. Maybe it was happening. It wasn't happening at the scale that is happening now. And that's the sad part, because, like I said, police walk the beat. In the 70s, they would be on foot. You know, it's not like everyone was in a cop car. You know, it could be because of funding or whatever, but the police, you know, they had the weapons and all like that. Um, but this is, I'm talking the 70s. I'm talking 100,000 years ago you know, in my mind. But we know how to do that. We know how to not kill black and brown people. We know that. But there was, I don't know if Clinton was behind it. I'd have to do some research, a little bit more research. But Clinton, maybe the crime bill. I mean, it was like one strike, you're out. I don't know. But like I said, that's why I'm trying to stay on the other side of the law. I don't want to be a part of the judicial system at any stretch of the imagination, you know. And I knew that as a young person, that I don't want to get this spiral stuff going on, you know. So I was always, you know, upstanding citizen, as I am now. And because I know the stakes are high, the likelihood of a young lady who called the police, for example, she was in foster care. You know, she was trouble. Not everything needs to have a 911. 911 is for emergency. Now, emergency. That's how I treat 911. You know, this is a dire emergency. because I know the people that are going to respond to the 911, they have weapons. So I have that lodged in my brain. So I don't, that's not my go to. Oh, I need to call police. That's just not what I've been, I have too much data. So if we do better, we know better, we do better. So the fact that we know better. We know this animal. We know this beast. So why are we rolling the dice on our lives? Why are we choosing to do that? I just don't understand. This is a gamble because somebody's going to go out in a body bag. 50-50 chance. That's a chance I'm not even willing to take. I'm not. I saw police. It was something that went on in North Phoenix. I was up there for a couple of hours, and I noticed that there was a lot of police, and I guess they had the call and they made the U-turn, and I kind of got out of their way because I was in my Camry, the 95 Camry that's still running. That's still, the AC is still running and working. But yeah, I was in my little Camry, get her running, a couple of days a week. Um, I just, got out the way, because I knew they weren't coming behind me. So I knew they must have had a call and they had to go, and went up to Thunderbird or something. But I say all that to say, I just don't even want to interact with police. That's sad. That's just where we are. So if we can make decisions, fundamental decisions, maybe have a family meeting. This is serious. This is a serious deal in our community that we are burying. Police officers are behind. I'm not going to say all, quite a few, quite a many. I'm going to say a lot of deaths. And, you know, for, what was the young man? He had locks. I think he worked at the cafeteria. Philando. That's all I remember. Philando Steele. I don't want to say Steele, but that might not be his name. He was. I mean, it's just Tamir Rice. That one bothered me. Even bothers to me to this day. We've had so many examples of saying we cannot trust the police. And if Biden doesn't bring it up tomorrow, I'm going to be we've been duped once again, Black and brown people, And I mean, Trump had to go. He probably wasn't elected theoretically, if he was, but I think it was some stuff that they did behind the scenes. That's my feeling. But with that said, he was still for 4 years, number 45. But now we have Kamala, Vice President Kamala, and we have Biden. And if he does not mention defunding or whatever kind of language, they're both attorneys, so they know how to spin it if they need to. But we are burying our young. We're burying our men. We're burying women, young ladies. This is the promise of our tomorrow. And so I really want psychological evaluations on every police officer, young, old, newcomers, or seasoned. We know that there's some disconnect in the brain as regards to Black and brown people. I had someone I worked with, I may have shared this before, and he was pulled over for this was some years ago, probably 20 years or 30 years ago, and living out here. And he was, I guess police pulled him over for suspicion of DUI. And he was, he's in his 60s now, and they took him, they didn't arrest him. They took him to, process, I guess they ran the tag and all, like everything was good, but, still, he was under suspicion of DUI. He slept it off in the jail cell and they let him go. He told me that story. He told me that story, like last year, you know, because white men, they have an entitlement level. They feel they're entitled. That wasn't to say this to a black female. That was just, they don't have any shame in their game. But we have to do our part and lay down the weapons. We need to not kill each other. I'm going to say it because we are killing each other. Police are killing us. There's no relief. Where's the relief? We must do our due diligence we are civil people. We are civilized. We are in the America jungle, the American jungle, you know? And so we need to recognize where we are, what their agenda is, and we have to have our own separate agenda. And not to be funny, we cannot be conspirators with the killing of black and brown people. So if you see a situation, it gets a little heated, walk away, come back another day and, talk it out. If something's going to come to blows or, everybody's all up in arms. I've been seeing some posts on Facebook and, it was just like, oh my gosh, these are like 50 and 60-year-old people, having problems. You've been on this planet this long, and only way to settle something is to uh, react, react. Oh, oh. And that's why I'm doing this 21-day challenge of this meditation, start the day in meditation and I end the day in meditation to keep myself centered. Because I know when I leave the comfort of my home, I know there's going to be, I'm not looking for it, but, and I'm centered. So you cannot pull me, push me, and I'm already 5'11", so you cannot push me or pull me. I'm solid, in my conviction of knowing I'm balanced, I'm peaceful, I'm loving, I'm kind. So I'm not going to come out of myself to say or show you the very worst of me. I am going to live in accordance to what I know to do, and that's not react. React. Sometimes it's really quick. I'm pissed. The emotions, everything's flying. So if you respond, you give it a couple of moments of thought, you process the information, you come back center, and I've had to do this with my own family members that kind of rile me up. They attempt to, but I'm just like, that's not phasing me. Because when you live a certain way, no one can just pull you or push you and get you off your center, get you off your square. And so I had an example of, had a father. I still have. He's in the eternal realm. He was very calm, a Cancer, very calm and, you know, very calm. You know, he was very zen, if you will. My mother, on the other hand, that's another conversation, but they were opposites. I'll just say that. But he was very zen. So I kind of saw that my own two eyeballs of how, a man, and my father was 32 when I was born. He would have been 90 um, this July. He would have been 90 years. He passed us several years ago. But I say all that to say I had an example, and still I have an example of a calm, centered man. And so when you have that in your household, you see things can go, you can't control the outer world, but he was always in a center. He was never off his square. If he was off his square, there was something that kind of entered in his spirit, and but he usually got back to his square. So we have to get to our square. We have to get, and that's leveled. So we are not calling the police when we don't. We need a social worker. That's why they need 24-hour social workers. Why can't the police have? I would be behind that. Instead of, let's just say, 611 or 311, social worker. Social worker would be, you know, come out to that young lady's house that they shot. Why did he have to kill that young lady? This is the psychological evaluation I am suggesting that will make so much difference if they enact it. Because that didn't require a knife. I mean, at best, maybe some stitches if somebody got cut. You can live with the stitches. You can heal from the stitches. You cannot heal from a gunshot wound, like 5 or 6 gunshot wounds. I don't know. That's why this particular officer not only should be he's on administrative leave, which is paid leave. So he's on vacation. So I will say at this time he needs to be evaluated. And if he doesn't deserve to carry the gun because of his ill use, I mean, how many millions, gazillions of dollars have been paid out for wrongful death of our people? Think about that. They are settling out cases like Tamir Rice. He got out that car, and 5 seconds that young man was dead. They pay out, but why? I mean, that's the other thing. That's your taxpaying dollars paying for those wrongful deaths cases. So we got to look at this. So I'm going to be front and center tomorrow. I don't usually watch on, talking about, this. And this is the first 100 days. So I guess he's going to, have a splash. So Kamala will be there. I don't know if she's going to speak. But I will supposedly tomorrow, so that's good. Um, because he's been able to have so many vaccines and people vaccinated and blah blah blah. That'll be another conversation. But like I said, I really want us to if Flagstaff that has 5%, if that, let's just say 10%. No, it's not even 10% because Phoenix isn't even 10%. I'm going to say maybe 7%, 4%, somewhere in there. If they're thinking about it, and they have, I think it was on the news yesterday that Flagstaff, defunding police, blah, blah, blah. So there's a level of consciousness being raised. Because people are just sick and tired of reading about it. It's just like another one, you know. So let's just see what happens on that front. But I'm hopeful. that because we are calm people, we are centered people. We, anyway, if we weren't, it'd be bloodshed in the streets. It would be another civil war. And I guess that's what they want to do. So, thank you so much for listening. It was a heavy discussion today, but we have to do the necessary work to turn this thing around because this ship is going down and they're trying to take a lot of us with them. But I'm going to be hopeful for tomorrow night. I'm going to be front and center, and hearing what he says and what he doesn't say. There's going to be what he says is just as important as what he doesn't say. So let's see. I don't see Biden, you know, totally ignoring it. He's a Scorpio. hmm So he's got a little water, a little emotional. We've seen him a little teared up and all like that. But can he make change? Is he willing to make change? And if not, why? And if so, good. So I thank you so much for listening. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Like, share, subscribe, follow. This is Deanne, the Melanin Report 360. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 5:30 Eastern. And I hope you all have a great, wonderful evening and stay safe. All right. Peace. Take care. Peace.